Hello and welcome. I'm Xenodactyl. I'll be taking over. I am just setting things up as hello.
Hello.
So Salavanth is here with me. I'm Xenodactyl. We're taking over for Droptimus as he had to step out.
And we're going to be casting the grand finals, Starkiller versus Pargo Mike. Unbelievable. When I joined PsiX, just being GM was enough to make you a contender for this cup. Now we got 6Ks duking it out.
Wow. So
it's pretty crazy.
Just in the middle of their veto process, and yeah, 6K. That's like basically pro. It's pro.
It's semi-pro status, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Pargo Mike is ranked 28th in North America right now.
Whew.
And Starkiller is ranked, I think, a fair bit below that, but don't let that fool you. He's actually down at rank 44, but don't let that fool you. He can definitely play above his foreseen MMR when he's playing in tournaments. He's right up there with the 6K players when it comes to tournaments.
Yeah, he's also been at 6K at some point recent-ish, but I think
that wouldn't surprise me at all.
He, everyone fluctuates, and it's part of learning, getting new playstyles, adding tools to your arsenal.
No, definitely. Just last week, Starkiller played against Pig, a 5.9k random player, and won 5 games to 1.
Wow, that's very dominating.
It was pretty dominating. I was so sad for Pig. I'm an Aussie, so I was kind of cheering for him a bit, even though he's not from PsiX. I wanted it to be closer, but Starkiller just had his number. So the point is, we should be experiencing a very, very high-level grand finals. I wasn't able to catch too much of the rest of the cup, but I did see Pargo Mike versus Leanboy, and Pargo Mike looked pretty dominating, even against a GM of Leanboy's caliber.
For sure.
Pargo Mike just getting it done. Leanboy looked pretty good for a while, but in the end, Pargo Mike just out-multitasked him. Let's see if Starkiller can hold up to that kind of play. So what were the... So do we have the...
First map is Parasite, but I don't know.
Loses pick outside of the vetoes, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright. And Pargo Mike vetoed Fracture. What did Starkiller veto? I got into the party a bit late.
Acid.
Interesting. Not really a map you see vetoed all that often.
Yeah.
I wonder what Starkiller doesn't like about it, especially in PvZ. It seems like a pretty good ZVP map to me.
Well, it is a good cannon map, but I don't think...
Lost and Found's a better one, though.
It depends on your style of cannon rush, yeah.
I suppose. I don't know if has Pargo Mike gone for that earlier in the tournament?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about Pargo Mike's playstyle, so...
He seems to have been a pretty straight-up player against Lingboy. Just getting into that ICA and Storm, and even into the carriers, and...
My voice is low still. Okay, let me see if I can do something about that.
Your what?
It says that my voice is low, but yours is fine.
Oh. That's weird, because I can hear you alright. I'll just tell the players. One moment. Fixing a stream issue. And while I'm here, I may as well... Sushi already did. I was going to advertise the grand finals, but Sushi's already done it in the general chat. Here we go.
Alrighty.
You want to take the first intro or the second one?
I'll allow you to take the first one.
Alright. Now we'll have to step out for a second after game one because I had food cooking before I was called up to do this. I'll just put it in the fridge and eat it after the series is over.
Sounds good. Yeah, I was also eating.
We are just loading up into Parasite. Will take a little bit longer because this is my first game of the day. So we are just loading up all those assets. In the top right, representing Protoss, since they both represent PsiX in this internal tournament, coming back from the losers bracket, it is the red Protoss. It is Paco Mike.
And to the southeast, as the Teal Zerg, it is Starkiller.
So Parasite, a very large map. Definitely a map where you can see a lot of games go kind of late, and Protoss tends to like that in the current climate. So I think this is a pretty good map for Paco Mike. But was it Starkiller or Paco Mike who picked it?
I
To
do
go
not
first.
see.
I think it might have been Starkiller if I remember correctly. So maybe Starkiller wants to play a straight up game. It's often a pretty... Generally there's two minds of players coming into a series like this. The first possibility is, alright, this is game one, I want to see where I'm at, let's play a nice, safe, standard game and see what's going on. See how well I match up against my opponent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second school of thought is, well, it's the first game, let's try and throw my opponent off and do something all totally crazy and balls to the wall and see if I can't catch him off guard. And Starkiller is elected to do both these things and is going for 3 hatch before pool.
Huh. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, on a map like Parasite, it is very difficult.
Yeah, very abusive of them.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Lingboy actually knocked out Paco Mike in the winner's bracket, which is how Paco Mike fell down to the loser's bracket. Paco Mike did end up recovering. Starkiller, on the other hand, all the way through the winner's bracket, lost only 1 map today to Jim.
Okay. Turn. I think that's the matchup he doesn't particularly enjoy. I'm not 100% sure how he feels about it now, but I know that when he first got to PsiX, he was struggling in that matchup.
And he did, the one game he lost against Pig was a ZVT.
Right.
Which was very telling because Terran is probably Pig's weakest race very slightly.
Sure.
So I think you're right. ZVT probably is Starkiller's worst matchup, but that's not what he's playing. He's playing a ZVP, and he's pretty good at that. His ZVZ might be better on account of, how many Zergs he faces and how he's a decent match for BioIce, who's like a 6k, 6.1k Zerg. They often play a lot in these little online cups.
Right.
But I'm sure his ZVP is no slouch. Let's see if he's played any ZVP this tournament so far. Well, he did 2-0 Lingboy. But doesn't look like he's played against any Protosses of Paco Mike's caliber in this tournament, which is because Paco Mike is the only Protoss of Paco Mike's caliber in this tournament.
I'm gonna put the camera on you while I try and play with the sound a little bit more.
Sure thing. So we got 2 Adepts coming to the third base, trying to get a bit of damage done, but there aren't any actual Adepts there. He's going to shade one of them, no, shade both of them through, but Starkiller's got everything locked up real tight. I don't think he hasn't lost a single worker so far. Throwing down that second gate, looks like everything's pretty standard. We'll have to see what the next tech choice is going to be. He's throwing down one of his gases. Interestingly, the one gas he chooses to throw down is the gas that is right next to the Overlord that is normally there, so he might be trying to fake out his opponent. And Sushi's just told me that Starkiller will start up 1 game up, coming from the winner's bracket. We are playing that variant rule, so Starkiller only needs 2 games in order to win this series. And Starkiller, Paco Mike is not mining any gas just yet. So that might indicate some sort of aggression, but he would have 32 probes if he wanted to go for a charge throttle, and he's got 38. So I think that's just a bit of a small oversight. I think he is going to go into some sort of tech, but what tech he's going for remains very elusive. I think he might try and take a third base before committing to anything in particular. Might just be playing a very defensive style into that double robo. He's getting the Twilight Council now. It is a pretty late Twilight Council if he wants to go for any sort of early attack. Looks like he might have wanted to go double Stargate, but he was scouted and instead going for Robo, instead going for a delayed Archon drop. Bit of indecision from Paco Mike, probably based on the good scouting of Starkiller. Starkiller just posturing outside that third base, trying to deny any such third going up for as long as he can. Meantime, going for a Roach Warren and an Evo Chamber. Everything pretty standard from both players. Works are even. So we'll be seeing how the mid games choose to develop, but the early games so far have been very passive, and that third base does go up. An Oracle with a ton of energy is defending it, so these Lings are probably just going to back away. As soon as they see that, they're not going to be able to snipe this third base. They could try, but I don't think they're going to manage it. Nope, they don't.
That Oracle has plenty of energy, so...
Yeah. And the Nexus just had too much health to be bursted down by those Zerglings.
They do get the probe, so small consolation prize, I suppose, but...
Yeah. And they might get this pylon because Pokemon doesn't really have that many units.
Oh.
The Oracle will be forced back to defend. Will be back to defend in time, but at least, hey, it did pull back the Oracle. And Lings do not cost very much money, citation needed. Meanwhile, Phoenix gets another Overlord. Starkiller is starting that mid-game powering up of Zerg, where it starts to get a very devastating amount of supply. You'll often see Zerg up 40, 50, 60 supply in the mid-game, and that's not even suggesting they're behind. It's just that those Zerg armies tend to be so supply efficient, especially if they've got a solid core of roaches in them, that it's the job of the Protoss to stay back and defend until they can get that like 160 plus supply that forces Zerg to tech up and transition. And the tech has been revealed for Pokemon, by the way. There's going to be a 6-gate Archon drop with charge. A pretty middle-of-the-road build, which has some decent aggression. But I don't think it's going to get much done given how late Pokemon going out with this. He really wants to power up that economy. He's got 58 probes already. He's keeping up on the work account with Starkiller. Starkiller is only just now taking a 4th. So Pokemon is definitely playing an economic game. And I think he's just going to be threatening with this Archon drop to keep Starkiller at home, prevent him from punishing this. But Starkiller doesn't seem to have any interest in punishing this. He's getting a second lair. Wait, no, he's only just now getting a lair. Oh my goodness. I thought he just had that lair, but he doesn't. Both sides teching very slowly, going very heavily into their economies for this first game. And we have 4 Archons, as well as 4 Charge-Lots for Pokemon. So he's going to get some aggression in. And there's only a few Roaches and Queens here. This could do some serious damage. But there are 12 Roaches on the way, so I think that'll be enough to fend this off with good micro. We'll have to see how much Pokemon loses in this. If he loses the Charge-Lots, he's fine, but he doesn't want to lose these Archons. And we have 8 Charge-Lots now. This could be a pretty dangerous attack. Starkiller backing away immediately, sending all of these Roaches back, getting a good position on them. But if these Archons get on top of the Roaches, that could do some serious damage. Starkiller has to kite backwards. But I guess no, he doesn't. He's just pushing on forward with these Roaches. They are so tanky.
He eats through all the Lings and... he eats through all the Zealots, and without any Zealots left to tank for the Archons, Pokemike's forced to disengage.
Yeah, that's very true, and Pokemike, I believe, has he only got 1 Robo? Yes, he does. That's going to be really bad news, because Starkiller is massing up on Roaches. There's a reason that double Robo Immortal is such a popular play. It's because if you don't have a ton of Immortals, you can just straight up die to this push. If you don't have like 4 or 5 Immortals, a massed out Roach army can just kill you. And I think that's what Starkiller might want to do. He's getting +2/+1. He's getting a Roach speed. I think he's going to mass out on Roaches and try and smash down Pokemon. Already up 50 supply, as the Roach army tends to be. But
Storm is on the way. What do you think about how that's going to affect engagement?
It'll be effective, but it's not the absolute smoking gun that it is against Hydroling Bane. I think it will really help. But I'm not sure exactly how effective it will be. But with 3 Immortals and Storm,
it may not be here in time.
Storm is not going to be here in time. He's going to have to cancel this 4th base for now. And in the meantime, we have an attack coming at the 3rd base as well. Pokemike will have to retreat from this, but that's because his entire army is not here, and he's splitting Pokemike up into 2 positions. Decent Stasis Ward will deny some of that, but this pylon will go down. In the meantime, Starkiller is attacking from 2 fronts. But he's going to get some decent damage in, but not all of his army was in place.
He has a charge lot
going
attack
on at the same time, and the 4th base for Starkiller goes down. These players are so fast, we cannot keep up with them. And in the end, Pokemike, I think, doing well. That keeps that Immortal alive, but more and more Roaches are streaming in. These Charge-Lots and Immortal are no match, but he's defending this 4th base. He's got a lot of Storm up now, and he's going to make a few more Archons, and I think he's going to be okay. This Roach army has a clock on it, and I think the clock is running out. Moving in and attacking some more. But one shield battery goes down, but these storms are going to start going down. Actually, no, there we go. And again, more and more attacks. Starkiller is never in one place at once. You've got to watch the mini-map to check out a Starkiller game. But all these roaches at the third base will go down. Paco Mike is matching Starkiller blow for blow, but there's not a ton of units over here. As he attacks the fourth base, is he finally finding a hole in the defenses? Beautiful storm. Smashes a ton of these roaches, but the roaches are so tanky. And finally, Starkiller gets into the soft underbelly of the economy of Paco Mike, but he is forced to retreat as the army comes back yet again. And there is no second attack this time. Starkiller is up 40 supply, but +2 is on the way. There's a ton of Immortals on Archons. Not all supplies are created. 17 Ravagers!
Wow.
This is going to be Starkiller's choice. He's not going to tech out of this. He's used all of his gas on these Ravagers. He's going to go in for another big attack or two. But if this fourth base remains up, if this Immortal Archon count continues to rise, Paco Mike will win this game. Starkiller has to win the game in the next 2 or 3 minutes, or he will lose. Moving forward, there are so many Ravagers. It is so hard to get in on this attack, especially with those extremely vulnerable High Templar. The Oracle's starting to chew away at these Ravagers, but there's just so many of them. Can Paco Mike get in on this? The Corrosive Vials are zoning the units out. This third base might go down. Good storms on these Ravagers, and these Ravagers, while tanky, are not quite as tanky as the Roaches. Good Corrosive Vials takes out one of the High Templars. The storms are almost gone, but the Roaches and Ravagers are so low and almost gone, and I think that Paco Mike might just hold this to stop the... Things do go down, but the Ravagers are falling. Starkiller's supply is down to 130, and I think Paco Mike holds yet again. And I think he has a decisive advantage in this game all of a sudden. He has not lost any bases. He is still at 60 probes. His Immortals and Archons are continuing to rise, and he has +2 weapons.
So a lot more roaches still coming out for Starkiller, and he's gonna gear up for another attack momentarily. But
yeah, they are only roaches. But the one saving grace for Paco Mike for Starkiller is there's no units at this fourth base. Paco Mike forced to flee, bringing his units back.
Charizard's got into the main again.
Yeah, there you go. Starkiller has been up about 50 supply throughout this game, but now he's only up about 30 supply, so Paco Mike is definitely holding. And all of a sudden, Starkiller has less drones, and even more Charizards coming into this fourth base as well.
That Prism is turning into a minor nightmare for Starkiller.
It certainly is, but you're not waking up from this nightmare, not unless you snipe it. And with only roaches, that's never going to happen. 4 Immortals from Paco Mike. That's a good solid count. A 5th on the way. But again, he needs to split up his army. And he is. He's got plenty of storms. He's got 1 Immortal at this third base. Will that be enough to hold? How are the splits? He's attacking at the third base. That's going to be the main attack because there's no way he can come up against this ramp against 3 Immortals. And there's 2 Immortals at the third now, so I think he's going to hold both locations. He's actually moving forward to attack Starkiller's army in the middle of the map, outside of its fourth base, and in the meantime he holds his third just fine. +3 is nearly done. The roaches are being whittled down, the supplies are almost even, Paco Mike is pushing forward, and Starkiller goes for one last ditch effort, but I don't think it's going to do it. Paco Mike is only down 10 supply now, he has 20 more workers than his opponent. This Archon does go down. There are no more upgrades for Starkiller, there is no teching out. Paco Mike is just continuing to weather the storm. A few more roaches will get caught on the rally. 12 Ravagers on the way.
The Immortal Archon,
I do not know.
It has grown to a count that is very terrifying.
Yeah, and look at that. There's going to be an attempted flank, but actually Starkiller is the flanker and not the flankee, and a lot of this Immortal Archon could go down. This could be the mistake Starkiller was waiting for. Starkiller has to go, and he has to go very, very soon. More Charizards warping in, but it doesn't matter. Starkiller has to go now. This is his only chance to win this game. This fourth base is going to go down, cannons. I think. But yeah, all of these cannons and shield batteries are in the way. Not the kind of shield batteries and cannons you're used to, you know, but equally effective.
It's still the same composition.
Immortals, shield batteries, and cannons. Yeah, you're right. More roaches streaming across. This 5th base is never going to go up.
Nope.
Well, not for now, anyway. But in the meantime, Paco Mike's got a very solid composition, but certainly Starkiller has gotten that supply back to a certain extent. And these Templar are forced to be made into Archons. He's going to try and snipe these High Templars, and I think he will. The fourth base attack is just a distraction, and all of these High Templars and this Immortal go down. Starkiller is actually... Could he be clawing this back? He's trying his very best. More Immortals coming on down, but they are undefended. Seeing all of these cannons and shield batteries at the fourth, Starkiller has decided on a different approach. But Paco Mike once again holds on. I really would like to see a double robo out of Paco Mike. He's been holding this entire time with a single robo. If we had double robo, I think this game would already be over. But Paco Mike just hadn't had the room to breathe, and oh, the storms go down. That all of this Roach Ravager is so low.
He got 40 or 20 probes rather with the last assault, but
yeah,
he lost a base.
And he's got more roaches in the main, so he's evened up the worker count. But an even is good for Paco Mike given the sheer quality of the units he's producing, and all of these Ravagers are looking to be under fire. It is amazing how long Starkiller has held for this. I thought this game was over 2 or 3 minutes ago, but more Roaches and Ravagers streaming across for Starkiller, but there's plenty of units to defend that. Corrosive Biles do miss. Immortals continue to be built out. And Starkiller, once again, he's not trying to transition. He's taken a 4th base at the lower left corner, but he is still on 4 bases against the 4 bases of Paco Mike. And Paco Mike even taking a 5th before Starkiller. More and more Charge Lots streaming on in. That is the story of this game so far. These Charge Lots have just been so devastating on the counter-attack. We've got a bunch of Ravagers, but there's almost no Roaches to actually go with them. Starkiller with a very Ravager-heavy composition. And plus 2 armor now on the way for Paco Mike as he continues to incrementally improve his forces. There's a lot of units at this 5th base which is not being attacked. Starkiller has decided, alright, if you're going to split your army, I'm going to focus mine and try and blitzkrieg this. But
there's too many Immortals here.
So many storms now. The quality of Paco Mike's units is so strong that even half of the army can hold back Starkiller. But there is no way for Starkiller to go. The only way to go is forward. Look at that Archon count. Look at that Immortal count. Look at that Storm count. It is still ICA plus Storm. But the quality of this army has increased so much over the last 5 or 6 minutes. There's so many Ravagers. They are going to try for it. Paco Mike can't just dive on this composition or he will be biled to death. But there's a lot of biles going down. The biles are now mostly down. And Paco Mike takes the opportunity to just whittle away at this force little by little. He's buying time, and time is all he needs. Starkiller is down to 39 workers on the other side of the map, by the way. Another Charge Lot attack coming in, and attack threatening this natural. While in the meantime, Starkiller and Paco Mike jockey for position. The natural goes down. And the Oracle continues to rain down death, uncontestable from the skies. Sniping and popping some of these low Ravagers. And in the meantime, even more importantly, he knows exactly where the army is.
It's not every day you see a 32 kill Oracle.
Sorry, what was that, Zeno?
It's not every day you see a 32 kill Oracle.
No, it is not. 32 kills. Jesus Christ. You don't see that every day. Oracle has been an absolute MVP for this against this Roach Ravager force. 3rd base being attacked again, and there aren't any units there. Well, actually, I spoke too soon. There weren't any units quite there, but there were units in the area to defend. Meanwhile, there's a few only High Templars here against these Roaches, actually. They did get sniped down, but there's so many cannons here, and Paco Mike's not quite paying attention, and there are shield batteries, so I think one of these High Templar will go down. Not even that, it gets turned into an Archon. In the meantime, at the 4th base, the 3rd base, more storms raining on down. Paco Mike continuing to defend. It feels like this has been going on forever. But a few probes are going down. We're not seeing any decisive. We've got Burrow coming down from Starkiller as he has to try something against Paco Mike's seemingly impenetrable defense.
At this stage, it's like they've been on the same compositions, but Starkiller has lost so many workers and not been able to replenish that.
Running out of steam, and more Charge Lots warping in at that bottom left base, which is the only fully mining base that Starkiller has. Remember, he's on 4 bases. Paco Mike's on 5 now.
He does break through the rocks.
It runs out. And it looks like this might be it. The flank of the storms comes on down.
Oh
it's
my.
looking like it's going to destroy everything, and GG. Parker Mike takes game number 1 and ties up the series 1-all. Because we do have that 1-game winner's advantage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load in... Starkiller is BRBing. That seems like the perfect time for me to grab my food. I'll be right back as well. What a crazy game number 1.
Wow. Okay, well, hopefully my sound is better now, people. I don't know. But, if it's not, then I can keep fiddling with it, but I'm not sure what else to try. There is a slight echo. Okay, so what's... Apparently my actual mic isn't... So for whatever reason, my actual mic is really soft, so I turned on the mic on my camera. And... And that must be where the echo is. Let me know if that deals with the echo, but I am doubtful that will. I think the mic is... I think the echo is elsewhere. Like, I don't know if I can fix the sound volume and the echo at the same time. Is the sound fixed now? It's clearer now? Okay. That's good. Good to know it's working. I will fiddle with it more another time, because this is not ideal for me, but if it works, it works. As long as it sounds good. Anyway.
And I'm back.
Excellent.
Is Starkiller back yet?
I do not believe so.
Alright. So, Starkiller likes his Roach Ravager play. He likes it in ZVT as well. He committed to this pretty heavily. But in the end, Parker Mike was just able to defend everything that Starkiller threw at him. The question is, will Starkiller mix it up for this next game?
Well, when I saw him play Best of Series with Riser, I think it was, he stuck on this composition pretty much the entire series. He just changed his openers a good bit.
Oh, that's right, I remember that. I think I was casting that.
Hmm.
Was it Snoopy and I who were casting that?
I think that sounds right. Alright, I'm gonna promote you to leader and step away for a second.
I have all the power in the world. Yeah, I seem to be casting Starkiller a lot, which is good because I like him. He's a very good player, he's very aggressive, he's a very cool player to cast. But yeah, he does like that Roach Ravager, and Parker Mike does seem to have his match. One thing I would like to see from Starkiller, if he's experienced in this, is Swarm Hosts. We saw how effective Swarm Hosts were in WCS Global Finals. I'm not going to spoil anything that actually happened, but they were quite effective. We know that it's a mid-game focused composition, like Roach Ravager Swarm Host, or just Roach Swarm Host, could be right up Starkiller's alley. It's kind of in his wheelhouse, and it's a mid-game focused, very aggressive composition that aims to kill the Protoss before he has that ultimate ground army of like 10 Immortals. And I think he'd be very good at it, and it's a very effective style. Especially on Dreamcatcher, which is one of the maps Starkiller has available. So, if I was Starkiller, I think I would probably go for Dreamcatcher and try and play that Roach Swarm Host style. And try and catch Pachamike that way. And I think that could be very effective. Of course, I'm not Starkiller. I am just I'm like over 1,000 MMR below him. So, I'm sure Starkiller knows what he's doing. But, as a caster, that's what I would like to see. And it's Starkiller's map, and he chooses Blue Shift.
Blue
Choosing the
Shift
French
is,
spelling of Blue Shift.
It's a rather small map.
It is a pretty small map, but it's also reasonably defensible. It's a lot like Catalyst. It's essentially the
Catalyst
new
2.0.
Catalyst. Yeah, and we'll create that mod with WC
From a
as
cannon
game
rushing
mod.
perspective, it's very similar to Catalyst as well.
Fair enough. I'm more thinking of the sort of the layout you've got of your four bases in that L shape. Plus
Right,
you've also got
right.
that ramp outside of your natural, and you've only got a few paths.
I think
Catalyst.
the rock pathing for Blue Shift is like more favorable for Zerg than it was on Catalyst. Like I think when Zerg can knock the rocks down, it lends itself to better sharking than Catalyst did.
Yeah, I agree. Although, and before the rocks are knocked down, it's actually probably better for Protoss.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, it's maybe more narrow than.
It's just more that it's one. Unless you break down those rocks, there's really no way to go from one path to the other.
Right.
You have to go all the way back around until you break down some of those rocks. So if you know where the Zerg army is and they haven't broken down those rocks, you know where they're going to be for the next like 30 seconds, which is extremely important as Protoss.
Sure.
I felt that pain in PvT when I've been the aggressor, and I'm like, there's nowhere I can go. I can't just go attack another angle because there are no other angles. Alright, here we go. In the bottom left, representing Zerg, the series is tied up. His Roach Ravager play was not able to penetrate Pachamike's defenses. Looking to bring it back, it is Starkiller.
And to the top right, as the red Protoss, taking the first game to tie up the series, it is Pachamike.
So we're very interested to see what Starkiller does next. As I said while you were away, one thing I would really like to see out of him, if he feels comfortable with it, is Swarm Hosts. It's a very mid-game focused composition, which we know Starkiller likes. It's been very effective in the WCS final, so I'm not going to reveal the actual result or what actually happened, but it's been very effective there. And I think it would be very much in Starkiller's wheelhouse, especially on Dreamcatcher, which is a map that he did not choose. But as I said, if I was Starkiller, I'd really like to see him pick Dreamcatcher and go for that Swarm Host mid-game.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if, like... I feel like with Swarm Host you need retrace paths, and I don't know if Blue Shift gives that to him. I definitely see it on Dreamcatcher, of course.
Well, I think if you break down those rocks with your roaches, you've got plenty of paths.
Okay.
But it is definitely better on Dreamcatcher just because of those ledges. But Starkiller is making a very fast 6 links, so he's mixing it up his opener, just like you said. And we'll have to see how Pachamike reacts. Doesn't look like he's overreacting. But I think he's probably just gonna... Yeah, he's making a Zealot. He's probably just gonna throw down that second gate when he can. And he's reacting the perfect amount. He's not panicking, being like, oh no, I need to get my stuff up right now and I can't build a Nexus. But he's also not saying, she'll be right.
He's respecting
that
it.
Zealot. Exactly. He's respecting it without panicking to it. And I think he's going to throw down this next gate right about now, just before the Zerglings get here. And I'm expecting it right now. Oh my god, he doesn't have the... He hasn't built it. What happened?
Okay, well...
he had the money.
He pulled some probes.
Yeah, it looks like he'll have to pull more. I was so sure he was going to just throw down that gateway and his timing would have been perfect, but it just didn't happen. Maybe he misclicked or something.
Yeah,
But in the meantime, he's going to lose a ton of probes and a ton of lost mining time. This is a beautiful opening from Starkiller. 3 probes already pretty good.
Yeah, his probe was in position and he built the Zealot because he knew, like, that shows he knew what was coming.
Yeah, exactly. I was
So-
expecting that gateway to be down and it would have been like, yeah, perfect defense. I guess it just didn't work out that way, and 3 probes is sort of alright. Starkiller, like, Pokemike's not dead. He's not even all that behind. But look at how late his Stargate is.
Oh, wow.
That's like 40 seconds late. So Starkiller's not going to be threatened by Pokemike's tech anytime soon, which frees him up to drone up. But he's not going to do that. He's going to make 10 links because he's Starkiller and doesn't care what you think. He's going to go for a Speedling attack. But
these 2 Adepts are coming across the map. They want to return that worker damage.
These links might actually just be to take out these Adepts, because I don't see 10 Speedlings doing anything right now at this stage of the game. And some 3 drones killed. Pokemike is responding in kind to this harass, and he's even going to get it. Oh my goodness, he's going to get him out. Oh, only 1. No, he cancels the shade. Still, he gets 4 drones, which is not terrible for 2 Adepts, and he gets a full scout of what's going on, which is not much. And Starkiller is suddenly economically very behind. Look at that worker count. Pokemike is suddenly in a great position. Starkiller is forced to send these lings across the map, but they're not really going to get anything done. He's even got a shield battery on the way. Oh, but that's a Zealot, not an Adept, so these lings can attack this gateway completely uncontested. I think Pokemike will just build another gate behind that, but still, losing that gate is very annoying. But he will have the Oracle now, and that means the Speedlings can't do anything until that energy is depleted. Starkiller is droning up behind this. I think Pokemike had to cut probes a little bit for that defense, so Starkiller's not in a terrible position. We are going to see that Robo once again. And a 3rd gate. But no Twilight Council this time just yet. And a 2nd Oracle on the way for Pokemike. So I'm interested to see what he actually goes for. I'm not really used to this style of Protoss. Like a very delayed tech sort of style. Although, mind you, this game would always seem delayed tech because of how it opened. So there is that. Got to remember there's like a 30-40 second penalty on the development of both these players in this game. So really it's not as late as one might think. But even so, including that penalty, I would expect to see Pokemike attempt a 3rd momentarily. But it looks like he wants to go in with a couple of Oracles. There is a Spore and Queen in position at that main base. So they'll probably get a few drones and then head back on out. Perhaps they're waiting for a moment where Starkiller is distracted, but Spores don't get distracted. Spores can auto-attack. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 4. Oh, he's actually diving back in with a 2nd Oracle. I'd expected 4, but I didn't expect him to dive back in with a 2nd Oracle, so 5. Very nice. These Zerglings will attack the Adepts, but the Adepts are more than up to the challenge. And Pokemike takes this 5th base without too much trouble, but there are some more lings on the way. And these Adepts are actually caught out in the open, but they're going to be joined by a bunch of their friends. Twilight Council will not be finished in time, though, so this will not be a Glaive Adept attack. But he will save the 3rd base with them. Once again, going for that single Robo Immortal instead of double, which is interesting, because most Protosses do go for double Immortals in this day and age. They want to get up to that 6, 8, 10 Immortal count. I think that if Pokemike had actually done that in Game 2, the game might not have lasted as long as it did. A Roach Ravager army just cannot fend off like 8 Immortals, but he only ever had up to like 6 or so, and he had to split them up.
I think so it's a curious stylistic.
Oh no, he finishes that shade. I don't know if that's a good idea. But the Oracles are coming in, but there's so many Queens here. A lot of these Adepts are going to go down without any real economic damage. There are still only 44 drones for Starkiller. The question is, will Pokemike notice this? He's not going to the 3rd base, so I don't think he knows how much saturation is there. And it looks like Starkiller is going for one of the oldest builds in Legacy of the Void, a 44 drone Roach all-in. AKA the Starkiller.
I
this is
feel
going to
like
be a lot like the first game, but he's going to hit even harder and faster.
The single Robo is like against normal Zerg. I can see that being almost advantage, just because there's this tendency to overproduce Immortals.
Could be.
But like against someone that is going to build Roaches, aka Starkiller, and going to build a lot of them, I feel like you really wanted the double Immortal.
So we see these Queens and such on the way, but here you see the problem.
Oh, I like this Queen March on this map too.
He absolutely has to break down these rocks, because otherwise, Parker Mike can just wait for him at the top of this ramp. And he knows what's going on. So that's going to buy Parker Mike some time. He's got some very good SimCity at that third base. He's got shield batteries, he's got gates to block, he's got stasis wards. He's doing very well, and he's going to be looking to force field off chunks of this army, and he does perfectly. 5 or 6 roaches, you go down practically for free. That is beautiful force fields right there. And he's going to have to do that a few more times, I think. And a couple of roaches do get caught by a miss rally. So already this is going great for Parker Mike. He does not have Storm Code. Oh, but he gets the feedbacks on the queens. Nice. That's great. That's very smart. The stasis ward is still up. The first gateway does go down, and the roaches begin to flood into this third base. And this is a moment where those double rebel immortals have been very useful. But he does have 3 immortals, and Starkiller is far from maxed out. The oracles do come in, start doing some damage, but some good corrosive balls, and I think Starkiller might actually just have enough.
Yeah, I think. Oh, the stasis ward!
That is beautiful! Acting as both a stasis and a force field at once. And this is the thing Parker Mike needed to bring himself back into this game as he continues to fight. He's fighting with the probes. He's doing everything he can to hold. Can he do it? These immortals are getting so low. One of them does go down. He's fighting for his life. The charge lots are coming in. This last immortal will fall, and the stasis ward ends. Parker Mike, Starkiller charges on forward. There's only 1 immortal left. The barrier goes up, but it's not going to be enough. The probes are actually fighting for their lives, but Starkiller is continuing to fight back. Parker Mike has 10 more workers. Starkiller has to win this game now. He's bringing more and more roaches across the map. The charge lots are starting to thin out. Archons being created. More shield batteries being thrown up desperately. This is such a close fight. More and more charge lots being taken down. The Archons are finished, but they're not actually that great against roaches. The roaches are so tanky. There are no immortals to be seen. 1 immortal on the way, but it's going to be isolated from the rest of its companions. And everything here at this third base is going to die. I think Starkiller's done it. I think he's going to break through.
I think he's like weathered, like. Or, like,
yep,
he's just done it.
The immortal was flanked. He took them out. He managed to break through in time. A very fierce attack.
He got enough damage done with what wasn't stasis, so that when the stasis, like, unfroze, it was a manageable amount.
Yeah. And Starkiller deciding if Roach Ravage doesn't work, faster Roach Ravager will, doubles down, manages to make it work, and now he's on match point in the MVP Cup. He did win the previous one 3-2 against Light, another Protoss. And I believe he was in the winner's bracket there too. And Lost and Found will be the map of Parker Mike's choice. Don't get your hopes up too much.
I don't think we'll see it.
No, I don't think we will either. Lost and Found, though, is a pretty good defensive map. It's the main advantage for Zerg on that map, I feel, is the lurkers. But Starkiller clearly decides... I don't think he knows what a lurker is. Like, what's that? Can you make it out of a roach? No? Then get it out of my way. No, seriously, Starkiller can play all stages of the game. I've seen him do it, but he does really like that Roach Ravager style. It is his best style. It is his most consistent and popular one, and it clearly can work even against a player of Parker Mike's caliber. So we'll have to see how does Parker Mike adjust. He's fought 2 Roach Ravager fights this game. Both of them very close. He won the first one. He lost the second one. Does he adjust his build to be more anti-roach, and how would he do that? The thing is, with the double robo, is that I think the single robo might even be more effective against that 44 drone attack, just because there's sort of a timing window where you've got 0 or 2 immortals, and you can be attacked then. It's only once you get to that 4 immortals out of the double robo, that the second robo really starts to pay for itself.
Sure.
So we'll have to see what Parker Mike wants to do here. Does he want to mix it up? Does he want to just do the same thing he's been doing, but do it a little bit better? We will find out as we enter game number 3/4. I think we're going to call it game number 4, even though there was no game number 1.
Fair
Starko
enough.
is up 2-1 and is on match point.
Score-wise, it is game 4, so we'll keep it on the score value.
Yeah, let's stay consistent here. So we load up Lost and Found. In the bottom left, representing Zerg in this MVP Cup. Winning with Roach Ravager, now on match point looking for one more game to close out his second MVP Cup in a row. It is PsiX Starkiller.
And to the top right has the red Protoss. It is Paca Mike.
So Starkiller going for an extractor trick again. Doesn't look like he's doing anything super crazy. I think we already know what to expect out of Starkiller, but that's exactly when Starkiller might get you. He's going for that pretty quick pool again. He figured those 6 lings got 3 drones last time. Let's try and do it again this time. But I think the only thing Paca Mike needed to do was get that second gateway down a bit faster, but his defense would have been perfect. So I think he's going to be ready for it this time.
Yeah, I think Starkiller really likes the fast pool to deny the threat of a cannon rush, as well as just force the Protoss to wall faster.
Yeah, he definitely wants to get into the opponent's face straight away.
Exactly.
He's like, I will control the tempo of this game. It doesn't matter if I get damage or done or not. What matters is I am the one who decides what you will do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do it, you will simply die.
Yeah, it's one of those openers that just keeps the opponent honest.
It certainly does. He's got to do that scout. He's got to throw up that wall. He's got to make that zealot. He can't cut any corners. Which also means that Starkiller basically knows exactly where the game's at.
Sure.
He knows that there can't
spends
be
all his
anything
time
weird.
there.
There can't be any like proxy stargates or something going on, because if he's invested that money into that, he hasn't invested into the defense that he needs. And I definitely think we are going to see that quick second gate going up this time. I would like to see Paca Mike send that probe down right now. Or maybe he thinks he's just going to hold it in the main again. It's an interesting choice. He knows exactly where the lings are, but he's not making that second gate. He's like, I don't need it. We're good. Bring cutting corners to a whole new level. Zealot does get out in time, does get a nice hit on one of the
I'm going to go for the pylon.
Yeah, exactly. And if that pylon goes down, that's going to be seriously bad. The Zealot cannot afford to get surrounded. It is fighting with probes to back it up, fighting side by
Look
side.
out and...
No class divisions in the Protoss army. The warrior race, the warrior caste fighting side by side with the peasants. Bound by the will of the color and by the will of Paca Mike. Oh, but this adept shade is not a good shade at all. But actually, it works out. He slips out.
survives.
Covered himself in grease before moving out. And we're going to have 2 adepts and a zealot going out to see what pressure they can get done. Paca Mike deciding, alright, if you're so comfortable being the aggressor, let's see what happens when I take it to you. So, Starkiller can dish it out, but can he take it back? That's the question. And we'll see if these 2 adepts can get anything done. I don't know if they will. There's a decent amount of lings. There's a queen already in position. I think that Starkiller's just going to be just fine, especially with his speed almost finished. I think that Paca Mike's on a bit of a clock before Zerg decides, you are not welcome here. Get out of my house. And that's going to happen right now. Speed finishes, and these adepts are going to get surrounded. They will shade, but I don't think they're going... Oh, they get wedged in the corner. That's very nice. They're doing the very best they can. Can they get out in time? One of them will. Good move by Paca Mike. Saves one of the adepts. Phoenix first, and we're going to see a double Stargate out of Paca Mike. If you recall, he wanted to do that in game 2, the first game they played, but he cancelled it because the Overlord scouted it. Will we see the same thing again this time? And here's an interesting thing: we have no gas mining right now. But Starkiller's only just now mining gas, I think. And he just started. He's been playing a very no gas. Oh no, he did mine gas. He just took stuff off it because he had speed. He just wasn't mining gas for a very long time. And Paca Mike looks like he's going to stick with the double Stargate this time around. But it's going to be much less effective if scouted so quickly.
The second gate was... or the second Stargate was nearly complete at the time it was scouted this time. So, like, it's quite an investment loss to cancel it that late in its development.
Parker Mike essentially trying to cut a bit of a corner here. Normally you actually take that second Stargate a little later at about 4.5 minutes. And the reason you do that is because that way you can deny scouting.
Right.
But Parker Mike's like, I'm going to take a bit of a gamble, I'm going to make it a little faster, get those Phoenixes out a little faster, and hope that you don't scout me. But that gamble did not pay off, and they have been scouted. Normally you want to wait for about 5 or 6 Phoenixes before you actually reveal them to your opponent. But +1 melee on the way from Starkiller, which is exactly what you want against a build like this. This third is going to be very difficult to hold. How many oracles does Starkiller have? He has none. He has Parker Mike has no oracles. Neither does Starkiller, but that's kind of expected. And I think this third, there's no way this third can survive. Even with an oracle, it's a tough hold. He's just going to Zerg this thing and smash it on down. You need an oracle with this guy to play.
I don't think there was a cancel.
Third base will never go up. No, it was a cancel.
Oh, there was? Okay.
Yeah, the +300 minerals went up. Oh, he's going to try and get this queen, but that Phoenix just in range of the spore. He needs to cancel that, or he's going to... Oh, and he loses a Phoenix immediately. Losing a Phoenix for a queen is not... He might even lose 2. Oh my goodness, that is a disastrous opening for Parker Mike. He's lost his third. It's going to be nearly impossible to get it back. He's got no oracles, and he's just lost 2 of his Phoenixes that he needs to put pressure on. And we're going to see a Baneling Nest going down from Starkiller. I think he's just going to go into Hydraling Bane. Although maybe that was Parker Mike's idea. Parker Mike thought, alright, if you're so comfortable with Roach Ravager, if you don't like Hydraling Bane, I will make you use it.
Okay.
That seems like the reason, like a good reason for why Parker Mike might have done this. But
Sure.
We'll have to see if it pays off. We'll have to see if Starkiller is comfortable with the Hydraling Bane. He's got a pretty late lair, so he's not going to have his +2 right on time. He's not going to have his Hydras for a little bit. So these Phoenixes continue to get damage done. He's actually got a couple of Phoenixes not moving. What's probably happened is Parker Mike has rallied his Phoenixes to one of his existing Phoenixes, so he doesn't have to pay too much attention to them. But one of those Phoenixes was the one that got sniped. And we are going to see a Ling Bane attack on this third base, trying to deny it yet again. And that could be very effective. There's only a few Adepts. Adepts are not very good against Banelings. They're light units, they clump up. The Zergling's going to try and in and give them the hug of death, but they go defend themselves with at the buildings. And here come the Banelings trying to take out these Adepts, and they will. These Phoenixes will come in and do their best, but they're going up against a swarm of these little doggy Zerglings. And will these Adepts manage to hold? The Zerglings are swarming, they want their hugs, and the Adepts are being hugged to death right now. The Probes desperately trying to defend. The dogs tackling the Adepts to the floor and bringing them down. It's a bloodbath over here. You can't see it in low graphics, thankfully for the children. This Adept, this Immortal is going to go down. He should actually lift that Immortal to save it. Actually, there's no the focus fire. Can he lift the Adept? Oh, he should have lifted that Immortal to keep it alive. There's so much going on right now, but it looks like Parker Mike will get this third base up, which is really the most he could hope for when given a build order disadvantage like this. But more and more Zerglings are on the way. 2 Immortals are up. The Immortals are very difficult to kill with just Zerglings, but they're going to try. The barrier goes down. More and more Lings coming down. They are going to take out one of these finals, but actually the rapid fire of Phoenixes. You don't want to see Phoenixes lifting Lings, but that's exactly what's necessary right now. The Immortals are wedged in a good position, and they've got a few Zealots to back them up now, but they're going to get into the natural. This Zealot is going to go down. And some Zerglings are going to start getting some serious economic damage done. Again, the Phoenix is forced to lift. Zerglings, not what you want from them. And more Zerglings flooding into the third base. GG, Parker Mike says. And Starkiller, just like that, is the winner of the MVP Cup.
Wow.
Starkiller, decisive as hell. Knowing exactly when the weakness was. Parker Mike just wasn't quite there in that last game. I think he could have stuck with it for a little bit longer, but he apparently thought he was done for. And with an opening like that, I can't truly blame him.
I think when you use that many lifts, it's like whatever Zerg has next is going to be really hard to deal with.
Yeah, you're right. He could have made Hydras and such, and the Phoenixes would have been essentially flying paperweights. And when you spent that much money on paperweights, well,
yeah, that
not very good for you.
Yeah. Alrighty.
And Starkiller will take, I believe, the second MVP Cup in a row. I'm pretty sure the last one was last month. And yeah, he's really good, Starkiller. Dropping only 2 maps in this entire tournament.
Wow.
1 to Jin and 1 to Parker Mike.
Solid play.
Solid play indeed. Thanks for helping to cast this last grand finals with me, Zeno.
Yeah, it was a treat.
sorry that Chopper had to go, but I understand why this thing went for what, like, was it 5.5 hours?
Yeah, I went and casted VTL, and then I came back, and it was still going. And I was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I saw the message from a few hours ago. I'm like, huh, damn, it's a shame that MVP Cup starts too early, so early. I thought I was gonna miss it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, it's still. I checked the bracket to see who won, and I'm like, it's still going. That was when Lingboy and Parker Mike were in their first game. I was like, geez, it's still going on. Let's catch the finals of this. I didn't expect to actually get to cast the finals of this. So yeah, quite a treat to cast Starkiller. Always enjoyable.
Yeah.
And what other events do we have going on in the near future? Let's find out. Alright, it is the 5th of November for me. With the 4th of November for you Americans. Scrolling on down. Okay, we did have VTL. We will have the ATL Americas Amateur, the semi-finals against All Inspiration on Friday, which yours truly will be casting and playing in. We have another King of the Hill. We have a King of the Hill team series. Not sure exactly how that's going to work, but it says 16 games. There's going to be 4 teams: PsiX, Black Knight, Rise, Esports, and Psystorm Gaming, with 4 players from each group. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm not sure exactly how the format's going to work. We're going to get a lot of amazing players from a lot of different clans. That's going to be on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, that sounds
and
great.
8 p.m. for Europe. And on Sunday, we have our PsiX Pro Series on at 12 p.m. in Europe. Clem versus Shadow N. That should be a pretty interesting TVP series.
Ooh, I really like Shadown. He's like one of my favorites to watch.
Just 2 hours after that, we'll also have Starkiller versus Terran.
Oh.
He's a Terran who is actually named Terran. And we'll be seeing another. So we're going to see two PsiX Pro Series back to back. And it's going to be pretty great. And oh my goodness. On the 18th, on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a PsiX Pro Series between probably 2 of the highest level players we've ever had on our channel, Cham versus Kelazar, in a couple of weeks. That is going to be a treat. That is going to be an amazing ZVT. Those players are so good. They are like legit professional WCS top 32 tier players. Even better for that, Kelazar, he's got like WCS top 4s and such in his pedigree. One of the best foreigners, probably the second best foreign Terran that there is, maybe third behind Hero Marine and New Thermal, but still right up there. Oh, and it's special, but he's still one of the top ones. Still very much up there.
Probably the second best in the NA LATAM.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Group.
Only special can
Right.
compete with him in that kind of arena. They're actually both Latin Americans, so when you if you're playing in the Latin America qualifiers for WCS, you better have a pretty good PVT, because Special and Kelazar are done to sweep him every time. So sad for the rest of them. But I think Eggs is a good up-and-coming Zerg player from that region.
Okay.
Has taken games off Kelazar and such.
Sure.
Anything else you'd like to say before we end the stream, Zeno?
Oh, I don't believe so.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for cheering for your favorite player, and hope to see you guys next time.